Good morning and welcome to our Sunday morning service. We are so glad you're here. There are many things happening at Unity Temple and we would love for you to be part of them. Please stop by the welcome table in the foyer after service for more information, or you can go to our website at www.unitytemple.org and fill out a visitor form. We'll be sure to follow up with you next week, and we hope you enjoy the service.
I've learned to slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make a mistake, before I lead with the worst of me. Give them no reason to stare, no slipping up if you slip away. So I got nothing to share, no, I got nothing to say. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned, On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I tapping on the glass, waving through a window. I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear when I watching people pass, waving through a window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving? When you fall in the forest and there's nobody around, do you really ever make a crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in the forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in the forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in the forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Will I ever make a sound? On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I tapping on the glass, waving through a window. I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I watching people pass, waving through a window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? Is anybody waving, whoa?
Good morning. My name is Michael Weeks. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I serve on your board of trustees. It is my pleasure to welcome you here this morning. If you are here for the first time, thank you for joining us. We look forward to getting to know you. We invite everyone present in the sanctuary today to join in our in-person community time immediately following the service. Our online Zoom community time will happen right after the service. The link can be found in the eBeacon or Saturday's email, or you may send an email to tlewis@unitemple.org to request the link. We appreciate everyone wearing a mask over your mouth and nose during the service as a way to protect each other. If you find yourself needing a break from wearing your mask, we invite you to go out on the patio and come back when you're ready. Each week, we remind ourselves of our congregation's core values: connection, transformation, justice, and acceptance. Our mission is to embody these core values in our daily lives by welcoming all, inspiring compassion, nurturing wonder, and serving community. We are so glad that you are with us today. We hope you find the service inspiring and meaningful. I invite you now to take a moment to greet one another, both online and in the sanctuary.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our chalice lighters this morning are Eamon and Gwyneth Schnitz. Amos likes and makes great creations and cool inventions, and Gwyneth brought her pink unicorn, Royal, with her today. We are Unitarian Universalists. This is the church of the open mind, the loving hearts, and the helping hands. We take care of the planet Earth and each other. Thanks, Royal. These opening words are from Jess Reynolds. It's called A Prayer for My Queer and Trans Siblings, and it felt like the right thing for this morning. Here you are, here in this holy space, on this ground that is holy because you are here. Here all of you are in flesh and bone, filling up your bodies that belong to you alone. Your pumping hearts is a wonder because it keeps all of us alive. The Spirit of love has a home in you. May we all see the love in you and let our hearts become mirrors for the compassion at your core. The Spirit of justice has a home in you. May we light our wicks from one another until we are all aflame, until we burn out every prejudice we carry in these bones. Here you are, here we are. Holy, holy, holy. Blessed be. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life journey, wherever you are in the world, you are welcome here. Come, let us worship together. I invite you to sing with Marty, We Are a Gentle, Angry People by Holly Near. The lyrics are in your order of service.
Please join me in the words of our covenant written in the order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship. To the end, all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
This is the time we set aside in the service for sharing of joys and sorrows and things that we would like to be held by one another. If you would like to have something shared in this part of the service, please email pastoralassociates@unitytemple.org. You are also always welcome to come up front and light a candle. Ann Cook passed away at home peacefully on Wednesday, just minutes after sunrise, after protracted and valiant battle with stage 4 cancer. Her family, friends, and beloved cat Theodora were with her in her last days. Annie was a joyous spirit with a ready smile, good humor, and a deep caring for her many friends. A celebration of life will be held later this summer. We hold many things in our hearts this day, and we hold one another in care and love. Let us unite our hearts and minds in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life and love, spirit that flows through each of us and connects us. It has been a hard week. Such a hard week. Fear and hatred-filled ideologies are rising up and inflicting harm everywhere. In our legal systems, in our culture, supporting white, supremacist, patriarchal, heteronormative, cisgender ideals above all else. Those fear and hatred-filled ideologies do nothing but create more fear and more hatred. Our hearts ache for all those people harmed, including ourselves, those hurt in the past, those hurting now in the present, and for what may be because of the shifting laws of the land. It is hard not to feel despair and disappointment and discouragement and rage and anguish. Whatever you are feeling, feel it fully. Spirit of life and love, spirit that flows through each of us and connects us, our hearts are full too with all the other things we carry in our lives. Personal joys and sorrows, challenges, health concerns, change, worries, uncertainty, hurts, and small victories. It is always thus. Our days and hearts and minds are jumbled full of all that is our lives. Amidst all this and whatever it is we each hold, help us to know this truth. We are not alone. We are never alone. We are connected to one another, woven together in a network of community with kindness and compassion within our reach. We are part of a faith that believes in reproductive justice, that affirms and celebrates people of all genders, all sexual orientations, all races and ethnic identities, all of who we are. Help us to know this too. What we do matters. Every little gesture matters. Every act of kindness, of courage, of connection, of resistance and persistence. We are part of a faith that answers the call to love all the time, every time. And we embody that love and make it real in the world. No matter what happens, we will keep on fighting, keep on taking action, keep on building the world we dream about. We will keep on keeping on together, always, in the name of love. Amen. Blessed be.
Good morning. I'm going to read a story called He, She, No One But Me by Lynn Benko. And I'd love to invite the children to come and sit closer if they would like. This would be a great story for you children to talk with your parents about after the service. Oh, wow, you were fast. I love your shirt. Good morning. Wow, what a great grove. Look at this. Two more. Awesome. Thanks for coming down. Okay. I love colorful ribbons. They look so pretty in my hair. My sister wears them all the time, and no one seems to care. I find myself a bit annoyed that all my things are blue. It makes no sense to me at all that a color is assigned to me by you. Sometimes I'm disappointed with the toys that Santa brings, but soon I forget all that because my sister shares her thing. I finally told my parents how all this makes me sad. They explained so many things to me, and now I don't feel so bad. They said the world is full of kids, so many different kinds, and all that really matters is what's in our hearts and in our minds. Now I know that being boy or girl is more than body parts. What really makes us who we are is what is in our hearts. All of us are unique. That's such a beautiful thing. Some of us prefer to dance and others like to sing. I feel so much better that I understand these things, and now I feel so excited about what my life will bring. I used to pretend to be someone else for fear that one might see, but now I know that I can be exactly who I was always meant to be. It really does not matter what other people think. Why would they care at all if I wear blue or I wear pink? The games I play and books I read and how I wear my hair should not bother anyone. Why ever should they care? The clothes I wear and friends I choose and who I marry someday should be my concern and no one else's. Who would want it any other way? Knowing these things that I know now makes me happy as can be, because I will never have to pretend to be anyone else but me. Okay.
I have a reading today from my colleague, the Reverend Otto O'Connor, who is a white, openly transgender man from Canada. He serves our congregation in Malden, where he lives with his wife and baby. This is called Claiming Our Names, and it starts with a quote from Marsha P. Johnson. No pride for some of us without liberation for all of us. Happy Pride, Otto writes. It feels strange to say that this moment is anything but happy because of assault in this country on black and brown bodies that has never really ended. The movement for Black lives and what's become known as Pride aren't the same movement, but they certainly aren't separate movements. There have always been Black queer people, no matter how much the white LGBTQ movement has pushed them to the fringes and tried to claim it for themselves. I claimed Otto as my name as an adult, a symbol of my identity as a transgender person. I claimed this name to help me think about who I was and how I was going to be in the world. But Otto wouldn't be my name unless a Black trans woman named Marsha P. Johnson and a Latina named Sylvia Rivera responded to police-induced violence at the Stonewall Inn in 1969, two women of color who claimed those names for themselves. It wouldn't be my name if it weren't for Rita Hester, a Black trans woman who was murdered in 1998, and the vigil of her death that led to an annual reading of the names of the dead, our beloved transgender siblings killed by anti-transgender violence, the overwhelming majority of whom are transgender women of color, who often aren't called by their right name in their obituaries or funerals. These aren't just names on a list. Their whole lives with hopes and dreams just as our own. We have to say their names. I wouldn't be able to live as I do without these ancestors who lived their queer lives unapologetically. My liberation is tied up in the liberation of Black and brown lives. These are my siblings being killed. Now is not the time to stay silent. And so I claim responsibility as a white person to speak up, to decenter myself, to accept the ways in which I've gone along with the insidious anti-Blackness in this country. I invite you to name for yourself what your commitments will be, because we need to name them again and again. Name them and don't let them go. Remind us that our struggles for liberation are connected, from our ancestors to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Tony McDade, to protesters, especially the Black and brown protesters lifting their voices. May we all remember how inextricably we are linked in this fight for justice and freedom. May it be so.
Not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause they don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown 'em out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching in on the beat of my drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. We'll fire away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. We are bursting through the barricades, reaching for the sun. We are warriors, yeah, that's what we've become. I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. when the sharpest words want to cut me down. I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me, look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching into the beat of my drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. This is me. And I know that I deserve your love. There's nothing I'm not worthy of. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send the flood, gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is brave, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me.
Good morning. My name is Margaret Clement. I spend my professional life talking to 6- and 7-year-olds and talking with them, and I generally do not enjoy formally presenting in front of any audience. So why would I volunteer to say a few words on this Pride Sunday service? The answer lies to a large extent in the last 18 months of this congregation's journey as we have sought to regain our footing in the face of significant change. Over the past year and 1/2, I've heard a lot about the areas in which this congregation needs to change. But on a very personal level, this period of transition in the senior minister has led me to a new appreciation of areas where we absolutely shine as a congregation, where there is so much to celebrate and build on, rather than to grieve and dismantle. Over my 20 years of membership, almost 20 years of membership in this beloved community, I have come to appreciate that we have done an amazing job as a congregation in many, many areas. But one is very near and dear to my heart, and that is the welcoming of those individuals who consider themselves to be some part of the queer community. About 19 years ago, my partner Ann and I moved to Oak Park and began the process of church shopping. At that time, our son was 4 years old and our daughter was 1, and we were looking for a faith community to meet the needs of all 4 of us. The church shopping journey took us down a few different paths, but none of them were quite right. At some point, Ann said to me, "Wake me up on a Sunday morning when you think you found something promising, because for now, I'm staying home with the kids and the Sunday New York Times." On my own, I continued on what at times sometimes felt like a Goldilocks type search. There were experiences of too much God, not enough God, too much tradition, not enough tradition. That is, until I showed up here on a Sunday morning. First, like you, I heard wherever you are on your life journey, you are welcome here. But second, and this is a biggie, the people I encountered really acted as if whoever you were on your life journey, you were welcome here. It was a wonderful example of this congregation walking the walk. Now, if you are younger than 30 or 40 years of age, you might find this type of welcome to be unremarkable. But as a lesbian born in 1957 and raised in a devoutly Roman Catholic household within a very traditional working-class Chicago neighborhood, this congregation's welcome was a truly remarkable event in my life. I, as a lesbian, and we, as a queer-headed family, were able to stop holding our breath when we entered this building and the spirit of this congregation. We knew in our minds and felt in our hearts that the invitation was extended to us for us to enter as our authentic selves. I could go on and on about our experiences over the years, but I won't. What I will say, though, is that on a daily basis, our queer-headed family has been and continues to be blessed by your presence. Ann and I were married in this congregation, our children were dedicated here, and the lives of our children have been shaped by years of religious education, multiple exposures to our whole lives human sexuality curriculum, and in Nathan's case, the indescribable experience of being a Marwood camper forever. Most recently, this congregation has stood by us as we move through Ann's treatment for metastatic breast cancer. These extraordinary experiences would never, ever have happened 18 years ago if this amazing congregation had not done deep work around the question of welcoming, around the questioning of welcoming those who are different than ourselves. These rich, transformative experiences would never have happened for this queer-headed household unless the congregation had moved from talking the talk to walking the walk of true welcome. As we move through this sometimes challenging period of transition at UT-UUC, let us not forget about the many areas where this congregation absolutely shines. Let us not forget about the things we do well and want to continue doing well. On this Pride Sunday, may we hold up and celebrate this congregation's long history of welcoming members of the queer community. May we take this history and use it as a beacon of hope for continuing to welcome all to this beloved space. Thank you for listening, and happy Pride 2022.
Good morning. I'm Lori Cashman. I am a member of the queer community. I'm a new member of Unity Temple, and I am a member of Unity Temple's Rainbow Connections group. I'm going to share some very personal feelings with you, but because of how things are in the world we live in right now regarding the LGBTQ+ community, particularly the trans community, I will not be sharing the nature of my relationship with the following person. There is a child in my life who I love beyond measure, for whom I would gladly risk my own life to protect, who is compassionate and kind, and who loves with abandon, who is so innocent that she cannot conceive that her gender identity could possibly matter to anyone, no less be an issue for them. That there could be any reason on this earth why she should be ashamed of being a girl, even though her assigned sex at birth was male. Every one of us is concerned for the safety and health and happiness of the children we love. From the moment we lay our eyes on them, we have an overwhelming desire to protect them, don't we? When I look at this precious child, my heart becomes heavy beyond words, knowing the unique challenges that lie ahead of her. When I sit down with her and she relaxes in my arms, it's excruciating to think there will be a day when the adults in her life won't be able to shelter her from cruelty as we do now. That thought is unbearable. Unbearable. You can imagine how frightening it was to learn that 42% of the nearly 35,000 LGBTQ youths and over half of the trans and non-binary youths surveyed by the Trevor Project seriously considered suicide within the prior year. And how disturbing it was when the governor of Texas ordered state child welfare officials to launch child abuse investigations into reports of transgender young people receiving gender-affirming care. Not surprisingly, I was particularly interested when the Rainbow Connection group at Unity Temple had a discussion about all the anti-LGBTQ+ legislation in the United States, where the annual number of anti-LGBTQ bills filed has skyrocketed from 41 bills in 2018 to 238 bills in less than the first 3 months of 2022, or more than 3 per day, with about half of them targeting transgender people specifically. And this year's historic tally, excuse me, quickly follows what some advocates have already labeled the worst year in recent history for LGBTQ state legislative attacks, when only 191 bills were proposed in 2021. The slate of legislation includes measures that would restrict LGBTQ issues in school curriculums, permit religious exemptions to discriminate against LGBTQ people, and limit trans people's ability to play sports, use bathrooms that correspond with their gender identity, and receive gender-affirming health care. As Chase Strangio, the Deputy Director for Transgender Justice at the ACLU LGBT and HIV Project said, this is a tough one for me to spit out, "It's important for people to pause and think about what is happening, especially in the healthcare context, because what we're seeing is that the state should have the authority to declare a population of people so undesirable that their medical care that they need to survive becomes a crime. What more terrifying intrusion of the state could there possibly be?" After this discussion, the Rainbow Connection group decided to invite Reverend Colleen Vahey to attend our next meeting, and she explained to us how she would suggest starting such a faith and action team. It was decided to combine the Reproductive Justice Faith and Action team with the LGBTQ+ group. So today, we are announcing this new combined faith and action team, exact name still to be determined. You will find a sign-up sheet in your order of service. If you would like to join this new LGBTQ+ reproductive justice faith and action team, you may complete it and put it in the collection plate when it comes around, or place it in the baskets that will be available in the foyer as you leave the worship service. It is here on the last page, okay? All LGBTQ+ identified people, as well as all allies, are invited to join, in addition to those who are interested in reproductive justice rights. Thank you, and happy Pride Sunday.
I'm Reverend Emily Gage. I am also part of the queer community and part of a, as Margaret says, queer-headed family. Unitarian Universalism saves lives. I know this to be true. I know this to be true because it has saved mine over and over again. Not just once, but over and over again. When I was growing up, I was held by a community of loving hearts and helping hands, all of whom guided me along my way through teaching and listening. Through their words and actions and presence, they let me know I mattered and that all of who I was welcome. Even when I wasn't my best self. That is what communities can do. This feeling is not necessarily unique to Unitarian Universalism. There are, however, a few things that are particular to Unitarian Universalism that have felt especially salvific to me. The freedom to ask questions, to keep on asking questions, to know and have it be okay that we haven't figured it all out, but we are going to keep at it. The spaciousness in our faith that lets us believe differently from one another, which means we can grow and change and still know there is room for us. The commitment to inclusive, values-based sexuality education, which equips us for understanding the full spectrum of gender identity and expression and sexual orientation, which allows us to affirm and celebrate ourselves and all of those around us. The core sense that religion is how you live your life, that your beliefs are lived beliefs, not just an idea. All these things have grounded me and been woven deeply into me for as long as I can remember. This grounding, this broad love, both general and specific affirmation have been something that has sustained me when life has proved challenging. And make no mistake, life is challenging these days. The fact that the Supreme Court this week, for the first time, took away constitutional rights is terrifying. Women are no longer guaranteed autonomy and choices when it comes to their bodies and lives. It's not just about reproductive justice. This in itself is horrifying. Also horrifying is the knowledge that once the door of repealing rights is open, who knows where it must lead. Associate Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has already said that he, at least, is ready to reconsider the right to contraception and same-sex marriage. All of these, it's a violation of our religious liberty as Unitarian Universalists. I can barely take all this information in. My life has been fundamentally shaped by bodily autonomy and access to contraception and the right to same-sex marriage. All of yours, to varying degrees, has been too. This past week, finishing up today, Unitarian Universalist annual continental gathering called General Assembly has been taking place in Portland, Oregon, and online. The response to the news of Roe v. Wade being overturned was immediate and powerful. The Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, delivered a prayer and a call to action, and all those Unitarian Universalists that were in Portland were out in the streets along with local protesters. The words from our Unitarian Universalist Side with Love campaign affirm, our Unitarian Universalist faith affirms that all our bodies are sacred, and that we are each endowed with the twin gifts of agency and conscience. Each of us should have the power to decide what does and does not happen to our bodies at every moment of our lives, because consent and bodily autonomy are holy. And when disparities in resources or freedoms make it more difficult for certain groups of people to exercise autonomy over their own bodies, our faith compels us to take liberatory action. Knowing that I was part of a larger faith movement that spoke and acted on words like these felt like a comfort on that very difficult day. I hope you can hear in these words, too, all the issues that are part of this. gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, sexual health, reproductive justice, to name just a few. All bodies are sacred. One of the things I attended online this week as a part of General Assembly was a conversation with Adria Marie Brown, activist and author. She said this thing that I keep pondering. She said, "The state is not going to save us." I'd never really heard it put like that before. The state is not going to save us. This was before we knew about the Supreme Court ruling. But even so, I started ticking things off in my head. Yep, broadly speaking, the state is not protecting our trans kids or adults. The state is not valuing Black and brown lives. The state is keeping us vulnerable to gun violence and so on. Part of our work is always going to be policy and legal change and transformation, and it is so much more than that. Brown continued in this way. Interdependence means we keep each other safe, we keep us safe. How are we going to do that? One way to do that is to be pooling our resources and joining together across all the divisions we can think of in order to fight all the oppressions around us. Sherilyn Eiffel tweeted on Friday, "Remember that we have never seen the America we are fighting for. We have never seen it." So no need to be nostalgic. Right on the other side of unraveling is opportunity. If we keep on fighting no matter what, we take care of ourselves and each other, stay strategic and principled, and use all our power. We need to be building connections with each other inside and beyond our walls. We need to equip ourselves to speak as people of faith on all the issues. We need to be out there showing people who we are as Unitarian Universalists and what we are willing to fight for. Reverend Rob Keithan at General Assembly is working with a new organization called Sacred, the Spiritual Alliance of Communities for Reproductive Dignity. He said that he asked them what would be the best way for Unitarian Universalists to help at this time. And they told him, as a faith community, we need you to be as loud and as big as you can be. We need a stronger faith voice speaking for these issues. The louder and bigger we can be, the more lives we can save. Unitarian Universalism saves lives. I know this to be true because it has saved mine time and time again. Now, here, as much as I can, I try and cultivate this community of loving hearts and helping hands, all of whom guided me along the way through teaching and listening. I try and create that and work with you to create that for all of those who come in our doors. I hope that each of you know that you matter and that all of who you are is welcome, even when you aren't your best self. That is what communities can do. May we know and live the belief that all bodies are sacred. May we be as big and loud as we can be as a faith community. May our lives be saved, and may we save one another over and over again. And so may it always be. Let's sing our hearts out. We're going to do it with Come and Go With Me. The words are in your order of service, right below the listing. Oh, I blew it. I skipped ahead to the hymn. Let's do the offering, and then we'll sing.
Good morning. I am Madonna Thielen, and I'm very happy to introduce you to Hearts with Haiti, an organization that I have worked with for over 10 years now. This week, Unity Temple gives its offering to Hearts with Haiti, an organization that aligns with our Unitarian Universalist values and is committed to bringing compassion, equity, and justice to the world. And might I say that Hearts with Haiti welcomes all. As you may know, Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. I first visited Haiti in 2011, 1 year after the devastating earthquake that killed over 200,000 people. I had visited other economically challenged countries before, but nothing had prepared me for the poverty of Haiti. Although it had been a whole year since the earthquake had happened, every place I went, there were piles of rubble, there were destroyed homes, and there were people living in tents who had been living in those tents for over a year, everywhere in Haiti. Haiti is a country with meager infrastructure, massive poverty, and is a constant reminder of the ongoing devastating effects of colonialism. Among the basics that Haiti does not have are those social service safety net services that support people with disabilities or homelessness or troubled youth. Hearts with Haiti works in partnership with the St. Joseph family to create a loving family, a caring family for Haitians facing the challenges of poverty and disability, and fostering skills and opportunities for those in their community. It is dedicated to providing a brighter, more sustainable future for Haitians. I have worked in Haiti with their Wings of Hope program, which serves people with disabilities. In Haiti, there are almost no services for people with disabilities. Wings of Hope provides shelter, education, food, love, therapy, and compassion for those who would otherwise be abandoned by their families or their society. The pictures you have been seeing are some of the Wings of Hope family. The work that Hearts with Haiti does in this beautiful but suffering country is the work of love, the ministry of justice, and the work of human dignity. I hope that you will support generously Hearts with Haiti. You can donate by placing cash or checks in the collection baskets. You can also give by sending a check to the Unity Temple office with Hearts of Haiti on the memo line, or by following the instructions on your screen. May what you give bring you peace. Thank you.
Join me in singing hymn number 1018 in the teal hymnal, Come and Go With Me to That Land. Come on, stand up. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm born. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm born. There'll be freedom. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. I hear you. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm born. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm born. Justice, justice. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land.
Rainbow Blessing by Cricket Hall. May the drag stage rise to meet you. May the world rise to accept and embrace you. May the rainbow of love enfold you. May your fluidity never be hindered. May your pronouns always be supported and your dead name forgotten. May those you invite into your life remain loyal. May your chosen family lift you up and catch you when you need it. May you be able to catch others when they need it. May you remember sensitivity is not weakness, but instead a great strength welling up inside you. And until we meet again, may you remember that you are loved and you are divine. Happy Pride.
Please join with me in the words of our chalice extinguishing. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.